Realer than real. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. It's so nice to see you here. I'm happy to be here today and every day. Hallelujah. Should I do like a little country accent? Is it giving do a country accent? Because if you're watching this on YouTube, you see what I'm wearing. I got the Beyonce shirt, not the Cowboy Carter. Still have the Renaissance. Very sorry. I got the cowgirl hat on. Like, we mean business this episode. My question to you is, do you want to hear the accent? I feel like I don't want to offend anyone because it's not a good accent. In my head, I can do every accent very well. I feel like audibly it's not going to give that though. I feel like if I was going to do a country accent, I could maybe do like the Georgia Peach, like very slow, kind of like, okay, this is going to be bad. What? You know, the first thing I actually thought about two country accents on SpongeBob. So one, and I don't know if he's trying to do a country accent. I don't remember the exact episode, but it's the clip of SpongeBob saying, "Ma, this purse is so heavy." So that's the first one. And then I'm thinking of this episode I do remember, where Sandy's hibernating and SpongeBob and Patrick sneak into her tree dome and they're playing around. And SpongeBob says, "Well, Pinhead, your time is up." And then Patrick, not in an accent, but I have to finish the line. Patrick responds, "Who you call the Pinhead?" Oh, God. SpongeBob, you will always be famous to me. Like, the OG episodes that I grew up on and people around my age grew up on, those are literally fundamental. Like, the phrase, the sentence, the starter sentence of, that reminds me of this one episode in SpongeBob. Like, something about that is so near and dear to the heart. Not to get like fake deep, but like, it's SpongeBob, man. Like, it's literally SpongeBob. And that is a core memory. That's like one of the shows where I remember that my mom would like actually enjoy watching with us. Like, that's when she would tune in for. Anywho, not that anybody asked. Let's not get too far in and not do my intro like last week. He, she's, gays, and theys, welcome back to a very country episode of the Realer Than Real podcast. I am your host and your dirty down south best friend. I don't know what's going on with me. What's my name? Shamira. Hi, everyone. Sometimes in this world we keep things real. Sometimes we keep things very real, like last week's episode where I was literally boohoo crying. But on this podcast right here, we keep things realer than real. Hallelujah. Oh, you guys. Happy April. Well, this will be my first episode of April, but I'm actually filming this on April 1st. So truly it's the first of the month. What signs are in April? Are we still coming out of Pisces season? Like what is it giving? Let's see. April zodiacs. Let's give her a quick look. Oh, Aries. Y'all scare me. Aries women, Aries men, y'all scare me. Because I know a few and it tracks. It tracks. The Aries energy in you tracks. It scares me. We have to do horoscopes of the month. We'll do that at the end. Also, there's a retrograde going on right now for the entire month of April. So yeah, we're definitely going to get into those horoscopes so you and I can stay prepared for what's going on. What else happens in April? We start to hopefully get into some of the warmer weather. It was very rainy today on the East Coast, mainly in the DMV area. Just hella rain, torrential downpour. I literally woke up to thunder and lightning. Like, that's a little much. Like, April wasted no time. The second April hit, she said, "Oh, April showers? Got you." The second it hit. But if that means Mayflowers, then bring it on. One thing about me, I am a winter girl down bad. I love the winter season because you don't sweat. That's a big thing. I don't like to sweat. I don't like to be hot. A hot and sweaty version of me, especially when I'm doing something I don't want to do, is arguably the worst version of me. So that's one. Two, I like the consistency of winter. I know that even if the sun is out, even if it's raining, even if the sun don't shine. Anyway, I know that no matter what is actually going on in the winter, I know to be cold. And I can even, I'll give 7 8s. I'll give 7s and 8s where 7 and 8s are due. I can even say the same thing about summer. No matter what's going on in the sky, you know it's going to be hot as hell outside. And so the consistency helps me know how to dress. This thing that spring does, especially in early spring, when it's like 30, 35 degrees in the morning, and then by the time you leave out of work, not even by the time you leave out, by the time it gets to noon, it's already hot as hell. And that big parka that you wore into the office in the morning, you know, have to carry home like a dumbass. This is an experience that's not unique just to me, but it happened the other day, the reverse way, where I looked at the weather in the morning, but for some reason, I guess I only retained that it would be warmer in the evening. So I left out, I was wearing like a dress. It was a little bit below the knee. I was wearing tennis shoes and a hoodie. When I tell you, when I stepped out of my apartment building and I felt that cold breeze smack the shit out of me, I was heated. And I was already running late. I didn't have time to run back upstairs and change my jacket. I was already running late, so I had to go. And like, I don't know if anyone else feels this way. If I am not appropriately dressed for the winter, I think it's just because I do this. So it's kind of like mental karma. If I'm not appropriately dressed for the winter, I can assume, like in my head, everyone is mentally pointing and laughing at me. Being like, look at that dumbass. Does she not know how to read the weather? Like, I feel like people are like, oh girl. Like, that's one of my biggest irrational fears, is looking like I'm not prepared for the weather. And that day I felt so stupid, you guys. So that is why I hate this part of the spring. But hopefully we will get to a better place. And then when we fast forward in the summertime, I'll be complaining. One thing I think will be really interesting in the summertime is, so right now I'm filming this podcast, obviously in my apartment. I don't have my heat on because it's not cold outside. I don't have my air on because it's not hot outside. Even in the winter, when it was cold outside, I would turn the heat off because it's a little loud. And honestly, I don't mind sitting in here in the cold, because when I was first filming the podcast, I would get nervous and sweaty. So it would be helpful to not have the heat blasting right over me. Also, the heat is right here on this wall and it just blares like diagonally down in this area. So it would be a lot. Once the weather gets to be 75 outside, 75 or higher, I'll even give you 80. Once it hits 80, that AC doesn't turn off. The only time it'll turn off is if I'm going to be out of the house for like more than an hour. So I don't know how we're going to combat the noise of that, but we'll see. We'll get there. Anywho, you guys, getting into our first topic, you guys. So I kind of heard about this, this moment kind of like passively, and I didn't really like care about it, but once I actually saw the clip, I was like, oh wait, I do want to talk about this on here, because I have some hot takes I want to give. So Jerrod Carmichael is a actor and a comedian, maybe more of a comedian than an actor. But he is, pretty famous. I would say maybe B-list. I don't know. I don't really know him that well, but that doesn't mean anything. But he has I want to say it's maybe like a Netflix, like reality TV series, maybe following him around, kind of like his stand-up, but also like his everyday life. And I'm guessing the first 2 episodes have dropped, and in one of the episodes, he has a sit-down conversation with a famous rapper, that being Tyler, the Creator, where he kind of sits down and they talk about the first time that Jerrod told Tyler that he had a crush on him. So I want to read y'all this article to kind of give y'all the setup, and then I want to play the clip so y'all can hear it as well, but it's on Netflix and they don't play. They do not play. I'm going to insert it and then we'll see what happens. We will just see what happens. So this article from Entertainment Weekly says, in the premiere of the Jerrod Carmichael reality TV show, which arrived this weekend, the comedian reveals that he developed a crush on his best friend, Tyler, the Creator. He eventually confessed his feelings to the rapper via text, and that's when things got awkward. Quote, I fell in love with my best friend, 1 out of 10, don't recommend, Carmichael tells the audience during a stand-up gig featured in the show. I knew I had to tell him. Things started to get kind of weird between us, and I had these feelings, so I texted him. I remember saying, I know you didn't ask for this, but somewhere down the line, I developed feelings for you, and I don't know what to do with that. Then immediately I turned my phone off and went to therapy. He joked. My therapist was thrilled. He was so excited. He was like, man, this shit never happens in real time. Recounting Tyler's eventual response, Carmichael said, he sent me a voice note. I was so nervous. It was like 6 seconds. He said, ha 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 ha, you stupid bitch. I don't really know what that means. So I'll stop reading there. So then in the Netflix series, it is a sit-down conversation with Carmichael and Tyler, the creator, and they're talking about the conversation again. I will insert a clip here.
I have an idea of what it is, but what I think is made it awkward. It's because I told you I have feelings for you, and we didn't talk about it ever. That was like weird. I don't know if it was just too awkward to talk about or too. I don't know. Like it's just like I feel like you left me hanging out there a little bit. Like
when you said that, I think I replied with like something super mad, normal, regular, like.
You laughed and called me a stupid bitch.
I did. Yeah, I did. Mm-hmm. I did. And I think I just like brushed it off.
I know.
Yeah.
There is something about just the tangible awkwardness, which I have never watched a Jerrod Carmichael thing. I don't really know if awkward is his brand. Tyler, the creator, is not. His brand so much isn't awkward. I don't listen to him. He's kind of like an alternative rapper, and it never really appealed to me that much, but I do know a lot of people that do listen to him. His sense of humor has always been to me very like awkward, abrasive, but he owns it. Like all of these awkward things about himself, he kind of owns, and he kind of makes it cool to be the awkward person. Like, I don't know. I remember seeing some of his skits on Vine from like his Loiter Squad days, which was like this like sketch comedy thing I think he did back in the day. But regardless, there's so many things I want to say. First of all, Jerrod, I can't speak to you because it's already too late. You've already done the thing I'm about to tell everyone else not to do. But I want everyone to lean in here. If you're watching on YouTube, get real close to your phone, your laptop, your TV, whatever you're watching on, get real close. If you are listening to this podcast on Spotify or Apple, turn me all the way up in your headphones. Because I'm coming to you right now as your best friend, as your older sister, as your wiser younger sister, as your auntie, as your reliable coworker, as your bestie neighbor. Like, I'm coming to you as all these things right now. Listen to me when I tell you. I'm going to get close to the mic, but I don't want to peak the volume. Let me check my levels. Okay. Don't you ever, and I mean ever, bitch, don't you ever let a person tell you more than once that they don't want your ass. I'm telling you this as somebody who has been on the receiving end and has also been on the business end of it. Don't ever, and I know it's easier said than done because like I just said, I've been on the receiving end of it. It's easier said than done, but I'm telling you, and I'm going to talk about this. When someone wants you, they will make it known. So if they don't make it known the second you say you have feelings for them, don't you dare beg them to love you. Amen. Amen. That's my biggest thing. And it's I've been that girl. I've been that girl. But I've been that girl several times in my dating life, in my more casual life. I've been that person who a guy would show even if they're, because sometimes the guys, they don't even, you know what? Let me calm down. I find myself about to get heated. Sometimes the guys that you like, the girls that you like, the people that you like, they will not have, I don't want to say the decency. They will not always want to sit down and have a conversation with you and let you down gently. Sometimes it won't even be a verbal, oh, I'm sorry, I don't like you that way, or I'm not into you that way. But they will show you with their actions. Don't let anybody tell you or show you twice that they don't want you. Don't do it. Because I promise you, you will get to a point where you look back on that and you will cringe. There are moments, whether I had romantic intent, whether I just had purely physical intent, where I let people tell me and show me more than twice, more than 2 times, ways that they didn't want me and I would still pursue. And not on no creep stuff. I'm not saying that like, I'm cornering anyone, but just in a way where I thought that my feelings were enough to persuade this person. I want to actually go back to what was said, what Carmichael said to Tyler, the Creator. I know you didn't ask for this, but somewhere down the line, I developed feelings for you and I don't know what to do with that. I actually saw a take on TikTok about this and I want to kind of expand on that. The take was basically saying that crushes are your responsibility, right? Just because you have a crush, that does not mean the other person is obligated to like you back or anything like that. The person on TikTok basically was like saying that, I have friends, they'll come to me and they'll say like, oh, I like so-and-so, but they have a girlfriend. I like so-and-so, but he's not interested or something like that. That's where it ends then. There's nothing else to it. I like so-and-so, but we're just friends. Then that's where it ends. You can't, crushes are one-sided, because if they weren't one-sided, then they would be a thing. 2 people that have a crush on each other are going to do something about it. There's nothing that's going to stop 2 people that have a crush on each other from doing something about it, unless the other person does not want that person. And I'm speaking in a way that is very like finality. I do understand that there's nuance, gray areas and things like that. Trust me, I get it. But I'm saying, especially in this situation, it is very clear that Tyler was like, no, right? It's this idea that he texted him and he says, somewhere down the line, I developed feelings for you and I don't know what to do with that. I'm not trying to pick apart what he says, because I understand being this love-struck person who's just like, from his point of view, I understand what he's saying. I have all these feelings and I don't know what to do. So my first step is just going to be to put them out there and see what happens. But on the other side of it, how it can also read as, I don't know what to do with it. So now here, I'm giving them to you and you have to deal with it. And that's not how that works. I'm so sorry. And trust me, I love love. I love crushes. There's nothing more electrifying than having a little crush on somebody. I'm saying that as someone who is off the streets though. Don't snitch on me, y'all. Don't. Look, I know my boyfriend's listening. Look, I'm just saying, formerly, the artist formerly known as Single Shamira, there's nothing more I love than a little crush. A little crushy crush. It keeps things interesting, keeps things exciting. Like nowadays, like I love having a new celebrity crush. It keeps me like involved in life, right? I actually made a really viral TikTok. And it was like, I have a new celebrity crush. Life is worth living again. And then because Universal Studios took all their music off of TikTok, that video doesn't have any audio to it. And it makes me sad because that was my first video that reached over 1 million views. Thanks a lot, Universal. Anyway, what was I saying? Yes, I love having a crush. But ultimately, you get to a point, and it's always going to be after the fact. Because I feel like there's something about a crush that makes you think so irrationally. It's always going to be after the fact. You have to realize that it is one-sided. Sometimes you have to realize that sometimes it is one-sided, and unfortunately that's where you have to leave it. And I know it sucks because when you have a crush, you have all these feelings of like you're a hopeless romantic and anything can happen and sky's the limit and love is in the air. But sometimes in this situation, you have a crush on someone who does not want you. 2, and again, I don't want to say he doesn't have the decency, but like, if I told someone that I had feelings for them and they sent me a 6-second voice memo, ha 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 ha, you stupid bitch. Are you kidding me? Blocked immediately. Well, no, I'm lying. I'm not like that. But like, ew, what do you mean? What do you mean? And then to make matters worse, when he brings it up again, he's laughing. When Carmichael is in front of him, like hunched over, trying to physically make himself smaller in this moment. And Tyler, the Creator's like, yeah, I think I said something super normal. He's like, no, you called me a stupid bitch. And he laughs in his face. Ha 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 ha. I did do that. That's like when someone says, oh, the worst they can say is no. No, the worst they can say is when they bring it back up and they laugh about their response. Like to watch, I don't know how tall this Jerrod Carmichael person is. I would guess he's probably about 6 foot. The visual of him trying to cower in front of Tyler, the Creator, and he's just hee ha ha in front of him. Oh, heartbreaking. It's such a palpably awkward moment. I'm already not a super confrontational person. It takes a lot of courage for me probably a lot of liquid courage for me to actually want to confront somebody like that. Girl, that's another kind of sick and twisted, honestly. To do it in front of a camera and lights and maybe production or whatever, I don't know. I just wonder, like, what was the response he was looking for? I don't know. Something about that I just don't live for, but I can't say that I've done it. Maybe not in this kind of sit-down situation, but should I be vulnerable on Maine? I'll tell it, because one of the things about this podcast is not just pop culture, it's personal anecdotes. I want y'all to know I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. I remember once I went on a date with a guy. He was not really my type, and our first quote unquote date was not really like, it wasn't really giving. Granted, though, this was in my era of singleness where, I don't know, I there was a part when I was on the apps and I was not really being intentional with how I was scrolling. That's a whole other conversation for a whole other day, right? Once I got serious about it, everything changed. But before, when I was just kind of like seeing what guys would do, I went to his apartment. We watched Lil Dicky's like, I don't know, his comedy show, and we ate some pizza. And it was cool. Not really sparks flying there, but I was like, yeah, whatever, it's cool. And I was like, if we have a second date, we have a second date. And I remember we scheduled it, and he had to change it, and he had to change it again. And I'm like, okay, gag. Like, I was not too invested to keep giving him slack. Like, I was just not invested enough to press him and be like, okay, like, what's going on? Did you keep rescheduling me? Like, what's it giving? And he was like, yeah, honestly, I think he probably said something like, yeah, honestly, I just didn't really feel a connection. So I've been trying to find like a way to like, kind of like basically ghost me, which go to hell. Like, I don't know, go to hell. And you guys, I can't even look at you when I say this because I'm hella embarrassed. I don't remember the exact context. Like, I don't remember how I asked it, but I'm pretty sure I asked him, because you know what? He said we didn't vibe. And I said, oh, well, can I ask what you didn't vibe with me on? Which I'm trying to remember, because I know he said some fuck shit. I know he said something that would actually piss me off nowadays. I think, maybe he didn't say we didn't vibe. He said, I don't like your vibe. Bitch. Hold on. Wait, no, hold on. I'm heated. You got me heated. What the hell do you mean you don't like my vibe? Are you kidding? Wait, that's actually kind of psychotic to tell somebody. Tell somebody that you already had in your apartment. I don't like your vibe. What's not to like, babe? Look at me. That's hilarious. Anyway, but yeah, I don't know. You don't let somebody tell you more than once they don't want you. Because the second time and the third time and the fourth time and the fifth time are going to hurt worse than the first time. On the other side of it, though, because I don't want to gaslight people who have crushes, and it's like, no, but I know this person likes me, but because they've done X and Y, but they haven't done Z. They've done C and B, but they haven't done A. And I get it. I'm telling y'all right now, I get it. The other story I just thought of, I can't tell because I don't know who's listening, but I think I can find a way to piece it up. Hold on, let me think. Insert calculator tabulating noises. How. Let's just say once upon a time, somebody was running around all their friends telling them that they wanted me, but didn't tell me. But there was always this energy there of like, we're doing the tango, but you're not dipping me. Dip, DIPPING. Everyone, let's keep it clean now. Get your mind out of the gutter. We're we're doing the stanky leg, but we're not hitting the Dougie to go with it. I don't know. It works. Do the stanky leg. Yeah, you could go from the stanky leg to the Dougie if you have enough finesse to you. And it's one of those situations where it's like, I know you like me and I like you, but we're not doing the thing. Like, we're not reaching the final point to it. And I understand it. But even then in that situation, Because I'm telling you right now, even if it's something that is purely physical, 0 emotion, 100% physicality, a person is gonna let you know. And I'm saying this as someone who is in a relationship with, has been courted by someone who let me know. And I let him know. It wasn't a sit down conversation where I pulled out an outline and I said, point A, section 2, these are the reasons that I'm trying to pursue you. That's not what it was. In the actions and the way that we interact with each other, it was very obvious that we both liked each other. We wanted something more serious. Even, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but even if it is just something physical, somebody will let you know. I wrote down this line. I just wrote down playing hard to get. And I know what I wanted to say, but I don't know how to connect it. But I know some of y'all are saying, oh, sometimes you're just playing hard to get, playing little games. No, they're just playing. They're playing in your face. And don't let nobody play in your face. I'm being serious. So it was a very palpably awkward moment. I personally would never corner someone like that. I would never ask someone, hey, why did you say those things? Because it's none of my business, honestly, at this point. Because you know what? You know what happens when you ask someone, hey, why did you reject me? They're going to say, sorry, I just don't like your vibe. And then you're going to remember it years later when you're sitting in your studio apartment recording a podcast. And you're going to laugh, but you're also going to cry a little bit. Just a little. And with that being said, what's my time? Where are we at? Perfect. Let's take our first break. We'll be right back. Hi, podcast besties. Listen, I know you're loving the vibes here on the Realer Than Real podcast with your host and your literal best friend, Shamira. But if you know me, you know the party does not stop here. Follow the podcast on Instagram and TikTok where you can get behind the scenes sneak peeks of episodes, join the conversations in real time, and stay updated on all things Realer Than Real. Whether it's memes, pop culture headlines, or exclusive content, you can find me on TikTok at The Realer Than Real Pod or Instagram at The Realer Than Real Podcast. I can't wait to see you there. Bye! You guys, we're back. You already know what time it is. I'm actually really excited because I actually have a fun drink for Drink of the Week, but I've really gotten used to and very happy with doing a song for Drinks of the Week. It's given me like new life to this series. So, of course, we have to do a country theme song. I'm going to stop the accents. Okay, let me see. What are we thinking? Let's just try it out. Follow me here, people, okay? Here we go. I wish I had like a tambourine or something. Okay, we're going to go real slow. Drinks of the week. No, that's so bad. I don't want to draw out the accent. I'm trying to like celebrate it. I'm trying to celebrate Southern culture, not trying to mock it. That was bad. I don't want to do it anymore. That was so embarrassing. Okay, let me think. I don't want to do it. I've oh God, that was so embarrassing. We're going to skip it for now. We are just going to not do it. That's so sad because I literally just said I enjoy doing it so much, but that actually shot my confidence down so much. Anyway, first and foremost, the big one, never the little one, it's Big Pink. The water is still kind of cold from the ice I put in here maybe like 2 days ago. Refreshes and delishing is what I was going to say. Refreshing and delicious as always. I'm really excited about this next one. We're going to have to go mic down for this. So for those of you who don't know, my family is from Jamaica. And there are so many good things that come from Jamaica in terms of like food, and just the like cuisine of Caribbean food is just top notch. But something simple that I like in terms of a beverage, well, there's actually so many Jamaican beverages that I love. But right now I have with me a Jamaican cola. These are so good. Like if you want to, it has the fizz, the bubbles, the carbonation of a ginger ale, but it's not overpowering and you still have like a really good taste. So this is the cola champagne flavor. I forget what the yellow one is. I think it's a pineapple one. I love that one. And they have a cream soda one, which I know cream soda is like, I don't know, kind of a controversial flavor to like, but I'm with it. So we're going to do a little ASMR, of course. It's a twist off, but it's going to hurt my hands. Okay. I hope it does a good sizzle. That was piss poor. Anyway, let me get close to the mic so we can take a sip. Delicious. Now, I am filming this podcast at 10:06 at night. I'm not going to drink this whole thing, but I mean, I'm going to have a few sips. I mean, it's drinks of the week. How could I not? That's good. That's crisp, y'all. I mean, you know, thank y'all for listening in. I mean, that's drinks of the week, baby. I ask y'all this every week, but if you're watching this on YouTube, let me know what you're drinking because I want to know. Also on Spotify, I realized I could put a little like question and answer thing there. So the question for this episode will be, what are you drinking on? I want to know. Cheers. Cute. You guys, so let's get into it. Let's get I'm so excited to talk about this album. March 29th. I don't know exactly what time she dropped because I was not maybe awake yet, but Cowboy Carter released. Cowboy Carter is Beyonce's. It is act 2 of what people are alleging is going to be 3 total acts. I think this is her, don't shoot me, y'all. I want to say this is maybe her 11th album. 27 tracks. The runtime is about an hour and 20 minutes. And I love it. I really do like the album. Now listen. Now I'm going to be honest with y'all. Beehive, I'm here with y'all. We see each other. I do think the difference for me between Renaissance and this album, there was something about Renaissance I got quickly. There was something about a lot of time when I heard those first tracks, when I heard those songs for the first time, I said, oh, I'm here. Right? When I actually sat down and listened to it. I listened to it after everybody else. That's my bad. But when I sat down and I listened to it and I heard one song after the other blend into each other seamlessly, I said, I'm getting it. This one, I'm not going to lie, it took me a few listens to get through. I've done maybe about 2 or 3 listens straight through. And the rest of the time I've been bouncing back and forth between different songs because, you know, there's certain ones people being like, oh, where are my Riverdance stands? Where are my such and such stands? All those good things. So I've been trying to listen around and really get a feel for the album. I would say to anyone who is kind of like, I want to like it, but I'm not really seeing what other people are seeing. I'm not really hearing what other people are hearing. Give it a few more listens. If you listen to it straight through a few times already, I would say just go through and pick out certain tracks you want to listen to. And just do that first. Because sometimes it takes a single for you to actually want to get into the album. I'm being serious. Because for me, I'll go back to Renaissance. I did not listen to it until I saw the Cuff It dance blow up. I started listening to Cuff It a lot. That doo-doo, doo-doo, I feel like falling in love. That's when it really clicked for me. I was like, oh, okay. Then I went back and listened to the full album and experience. But yeah, I would say go back, give it another listen, find certain tracks to stick out to you the most. And then you'll like, for me personally, how I listen to albums, I'm going to always listen through a body of work straight through a good couple times because like my girl Adele said, artists take time choosing album placement. It would be disrespectful to, you know, to just listen to an album out of order. First of all, if you do that, if you're listening to an album for the first time and you hit shuffle, you're a psychopath. You're insane. Like, that's a war crime and you will pay for it. Like, ew, are you stupid? Like, are you dumb? Not to insult your intelligence, but are you fucking stupid? But, yeah, listen to the, you know, give it a few listens straight through. See if you can pick up that story, pick up that narrative. And then if not, go ahead, pick out some singles to listen to and get acclimated to those first. Because sometimes you get into a single and you're like, oh, I wonder what came before this. Like, what comes before this on the album? Like, does something blend into it? Is it a continuation? What's it giving? and then give yourself another chance. But you know, if you don't like it, you don't like it. Whatever. I'm not here to force you. I saw this TikTok, and it was basically saying like, you know, I think I'm done defending Beyonce, because at this point, if you have something negative to say about her as a musician, as a, you know, a vocalist, a creative or anything, it's purely, I think, just because you're ignoring the narrative. And I have to agree with that. I think that even if Beyonce is like the absolute opposite of what you would listen to, I think that even if you sat down and you like watched the Homecoming movie, like on Netflix, it's still on Netflix now. It's the only live content I have to watch right now, because I still don't have a live album. But, you know, Homecoming is there. If you saw Renaissance in theaters, you see how hard she works. She's very intentional with everything that she does. She does not play the backseat in any part of any project she's working on. To see that kind of work ethic in an artist is so, like, it's just, it is intoxicating. It is inspiring. It is all of these things. And I think at the very least, if you're not a Beyonce fan, you have to be a fan of work ethic. But I digress. We're here to talk about the album. It's giving we're going to go track by track. I kind of feel like doing that. That rhymed. Thank you. So actually, let's look at the album in total. Now, this has not been confirmed, but a lot of fans have kind of broken down the album into chunks. So tracks, we'll say 1 through 5, which is American Requiem, Blackbird, 16 Carriages, Protector, and My Rose, are very slow songs, which I would say personally is very daring and bold to open up an album with. For Renaissance, she really only had 2 slow-ish songs, and even they still had a little bit of groove to them. Those weren't until the middle. But to start an album out with these is very bold to me. But these are what fans speculate is kind of like how country music has been done. That kind of slower sound. American Requiem, once you get past like that almost like choir orchestral opening, come on now, big word, orchestral. Once you get past that opening, it, you know, you kind of hear those what to me sounds like belt buckles. I've always associated that sound in country music with like swashes and belt buckles. Do y'all know what a swash is? No, I don't even know if I'm saying that right. But swatch, is it swatches? No, it's swashes. And I'm not going to look it up. I'm going to ignorance is bliss, you know, and I'm very blissful. But it has that like very like typical country sound. Blackbird is obviously a cover of the Beatles song, which I'm going to talk about that in a second. 16 Carriages was a second single she released from the album, which is obviously very slow. It's has one of those like building kind of, it's very beautiful. Protector is her youngest daughter's first song. And then My Rose is also, it's a song dedicated to her son. And those are all very slow, kind of, either they have that typical kind of country sound, or they're just very slow, melodic, or it's kind of like, I don't know, what I would guess is like the equivalent of a power ballad, but in country music. And they're beautiful songs. American Requiem is, I really like it. I gotta pull up the lyrics, y'all. I wish we could play it, but I know I said earlier about Netflix don't play. One thing about Beyonce, she don't play. So the opening song, American Requiem, some lyrics that stood out to me. Gaston, Alabama, got folk down in Galveston, rooted in Louisiana. Used to say I spoke too country. Then the rejection came, said I wasn't country enough, said I wouldn't saddle up. But if that ain't country, tell me what is. Now, what the author is saying here. No, but I mean, like, what she's saying is probably when she was first coming up in the music industry, because she was being promoted, she was in this girl group that mainly did R&B, and all the girls were from Texas, right? Like her, LaToya, Latavia, Kelly, Michelle, they were all from Texas, I believe. So they were probably told that for a while, like, yeah, it's giving too much country. But you know what she's basically saying is she rose against the odds, she defeated her haters, and now she's coming back. Like, this is really her victory album. Because lest we forget, the whole reason she came up with this album is out of pure spite. But because she told herself, I can do it. Because when she went to the CMAs, the country show, the country awards show, and she was up there with the Dixie Chicks, or the band formerly known as the Dixie Chicks. And she got up there and she said she felt unwelcomed. And I remember that being one of the biggest conversations around that time, is how the unwelcomeness was palpable. And I was even looking, because I don't think I saw the performance. And if I have, I've only seen bits and pieces of it. But this time, when I saw it recently, I was looking for people's reactions. You could just see the displeasure on some people's faces. They looked at Beyonce on that stage like, girl, who invited you? And like, it was such a palpable unwelcomeness. And right then and there, she said, oh, I'm going to show you. Which goes into a whole other thing. Do you know how long ago that was? I don't remember. I have no concept of time. That is such a long time ago. And she's been working on it ever since. Baby, if that's not craft, I don't know what is. And we ain't talking mac and cheese. Second song on the album, Blackbird. It is a cover of, also, I want to point out something else in the album. All the songs that have I's in it are now double I's because it's Act 2. So now I will be Shimii. No, that's for my name wrong. That's so embarrassing. Shamiira. Oh, girl. Anyway, second song on the album is Blackbird. Blackbird is a very famous song from the good old 60s rock band from the boys from over the pond. It's a song by the Beatles, written by Paul McCartney. And Beyonce has, obviously, it's herself on the song. Tanner, Adele, Brittany Spencer, Tiara Kennedy, and Raina Roberts. Those are 4 Black country female singers, and she has them all in this song. The significance of this moment, of this song, is so important. Sit on down. I'm going to learn y'all something. Paul McCartney wrote Blackbird about racial strife in the 60s. Obviously, being from London, being from overseas, I don't know exactly what was being told to other countries about what was happening in America. But he saw what was happening, and he wanted to, as artists do, he wanted to write a song about it. And at the time, he was writing specifically about Black women who were going to desegregated schools in the 60s. So he was writing basically like an homage to them. We all know the lyrics to Blackbird. Blackbird, I'm not going to sing, but Blackbird singing in the dead of night, spread those broken wings and learn to fly. All your life. I love this song. You are only waiting for this moment to arrive. Blackbird fly. It's a beautiful song. Like, it is a beautiful song. Even if you don't know the history, it still is a song about perseverance, kind of rising up against the odds and spreading your wings, learning how to fly, a la Kelly Clarkson, right? But knowing the historical context, knowing who Beyonce is, choosing to put 4 other country singers, Black female country singers in this song, it really made it all the more powerful. When I put on the album, I didn't look through the track list at all. I knew there were going to be features on the album, but I wanted to be surprised every single time I heard them. Listening to Blackbird, when I heard the other person's voice come on, and I apologize, I don't know like whose voice it was that ended up singing like the main part after Beyonce. When I heard it, I was so just like, oh, I love it. There's a person on TikTok who is getting heavily critiqued for her response. And I know people are going to say, oh, well, that is what the Beehive does. They critique anyone who talks out against Beyonce. You see the voice I use for you? Because you sound stupid. I've now told y'all twice y'all sound stupid. And I don't mean to comfort y'all like that. But a lot of takes about Beyonce somehow seem rooted in some type of sexism or racism. You can have a conversation about how you maybe don't like Beyonce's music, but a lot of the times, this woman, she starts this video basically being like, or this woman in this video, she talks about how like, oh, if Beyonce doesn't win, if she doesn't win Album of the Year at the CMAs or whatever, I sense will be some outrage from her fans. But the way she said it, it definitely had a racial undertone of like, there's going to be violence and outrage from this group because you know how they are. That's really what it gave. Heifer, hussy, as Dolly Parton says on this album. That a hussy with the good hair. But, specifically in that video the woman made, this TikTok, she talks about how she hated the Blackbird cover. Now I haven't watched the video because I think at this point it might be, honestly, she might have taken it down by now. But it's just like, there's a history behind it. And there's a reason that she put it on this album. There's a reason that she has the people that she has on it. Like, it's just, I'm not saying that you have to fall down to your knees and shed tears over it. But to say you hate it and not even know the historical context is like, it is pure peak white ignorance. And that's all it really is. Oh, anyway, next song on the album is 16 Carriages. Obviously, and I talked about this before, so I won't rehash it. But obviously 16 Carriages is paying an homage to all the work she's had to put in as a child and as a young adult into making her career what it is now. It is a very somber tone, but it also has hints of being appreciative for all the work that she's been through. 16 Carriages is a beautiful song. Protector is a song dedicated to her youngest daughter. Is in the beginning of the song, so she's on the charts, baby. We got her in. It's a very beautiful song. It's typical like mother to daughter stuff. It's really beautiful. I really like it. A lot of people are saying that on the physical CDs, My Rose actually says My Sir, which is her son's name. So back-to-back tributes to her children. She's mother. Mothering is mothering harder than anyone has ever mothered before. So that's beautiful. And then we get to our first interlude, which is Smoke Hour with Willie Nelson. To me personally, her having names on here like Willie Nelson, like the four singers from Blackbird, Tanner Adele, Brittany Spencer, Tierra Kennedy, Raina Roberts. She has Dolly Parton on here. She has Miley Cyrus, Linda Martell. To have these big names in country music, baby, if nothing else, even if Beyonce didn't listen to any of these people, baby, that's country buy-in. And you can't disregard country buy-in. Anyway, we have our first interlude, and then we get into what I kind of think is like a modern take on country music. It goes in all different directions. So you have Texas Hold'em first, which, this ain't Texas. Hey, ain't no Hold'em. So lay your cards down, 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 down. Come on, park your Lexus. Woo! And throw your keys up. And stick around, round, 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 round. Stick around. Such a fun song. Like, literally so fun. She couldn't have chosen a better single to release for the album. Just so fun. We get into Bodyguard next. Bodyguard is, I'm not going to lie. Now, look. I feel like that one TikTok, or no, it's like a Vine, I think, where that one lady, and she's like, nah, I'm not one to gossip, so you don't hear this from me. There's so many rumors about how, like, Julius, who has been Beyonce's bodyguard for forever now, there's so many rumors about how, like, they're romantically involved. I don't want to play into all that. Turning on Bodyguard, I didn't know what to expect. I did think, because it was right before the Dolly Parton interlude, it was right before Jolene, I was like, can you imagine if Beyonce does a cover of I Will Always Love You in the style that Dolly Parton did instead of like the style that Whitney Houston did it? Because Whitney Houston did it in a very R&B style. The way that Dolly Parton did it was very country style. But I was like, okay, we'll see what it's about. And the first line of it, hold on, because given the context of like, oh yeah, Beyonce and Julius are together, which I don't believe that. It's none of my business. But when I first listened to it, and it opens up with So Sweet, I Give You Kisses in the Back Seat. I whisper secrets in your I whisper secrets in the back beat. I said, now hold on, Giselle. It caught me a little off guard, but I really think it's just about like being a protector of the one that you love in general. But one of my favorite things about Bodyguard is everyone has the same kind of feeling to it. It invokes the same vibe in everyone, which is that it just feels very like windows down in the summertime. You're driving somewhere that's very picturesque and your hair or maybe your scarf is just blowing in the wind. Like, it just feels very like, honey, honey, let me be your bodyguard. Like it has that chill vibe to it. It's very fun. Definitely has that very like modern country take, like kind of like country. I want to say maybe like a bluegrass. I don't want to be wrong. Then we get into the Dolly P interlude and the Jolene, or Beyonce's take on Jolene. What I love about Dolly Parton's interlude, she says, "Hey, honeybee, you know when you was talking about that hussy with the good hair? Well, that reminded me of a certain somebody I know. Oh, although she had flaming locks of auburn hair, but it hurts just the same." Oh, Dolly Parton, you'll always be famous to me. And then it goes into Beyonce's version of Jolene. Now, where Dolly Parton says, "Jolene, I'm begging you, please don't take my man," Beyonce says, "Jolene, bitch, come closer. Because if you even look at my man, I'm hitting you with the gat." She delivers, right? I mean, it's basically the opposite of what Dolly Parton says. What I found interesting, though, is that Dolly Parton has full writing credits for Jolene. Like, it says performed by Beyonce, but writing credits to Dolly Parton, which I think is very interesting. Some people have a take that this is actually Beyonce singing as her mother, Miss Tina Knowles, also my birthday twin. Because, you know, everybody knows, if you know, you know, Beyonce will, if there's one man Beyonce will always have smoke for, it is her father. She can't stand that man. I think she respects him. I don't think she can stand him. And so from that context, people are saying that it kind of does make a lot more sense. And yeah, I think, yeah, that's really that. The next song is Daughter, which I believe is like one of the more ominous songs. It definitely, people are saying it is the All Up in Your Mind of this album. If you're familiar, All Up in Your Mind is a song from Renaissance that was very different from all the other ones. Easily my favorite one, but it has a very dark, sinister vibe to it. I try to get all up in your mind. And so people are saying that's what Daughter is like. It's funny because we go from Jolene, who allegedly is Beyonce singing through her mother at her father, and then Daughter is a follow-up track and is basically saying like, if you cross me, you know, I'm my father's daughter. Like, he don't play, I don't play. So I mean, you know, it's very interesting. Then we get into Spaghetti, which is kind of a country rap thing, which it's not a genre that I partake in. Country in general is not one that I dip my toes in often, but when I think of country rock, the only thing I think of two things. If I'm thinking about the good way, I'm thinking about Nelly and Tim McGraw's song Over. Boy, when I tell you, my mom used to play that song literally over and over again. That's a good song. If I'm thinking about it in a way that makes me kind of like, oh, I'm thinking of Nelly and Florida Georgia Line Cruise. Baby, you're a song. You make me want to roll my windows down and cruise. The opening of that song is just so aggressive. It hits you. Anyway, Spaghetti is fun. I'm pretty sure the producer is DA got that dope. What does she say? I ain't in no gang, but I got shooters and I let it bang. Like, she is full on rapping in this, and it's fun. She also features a rapper named Shabuzi. I've never heard of him, but I looked him up. Very handsome fellow. Next is Alligator Tears, which I'm gonna be honest, y'all. And you know, I will say the album just came out, so I've only had a weekend to listen to it. I'm gonna listen to it a little bit right now. Oh wait, I don't know if I can because it'll turn my mic off. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. There's nothing really in my brain right now for Alligator Tears. So I'm gonna skip forward. We have another interlude, Smoke Hour 2. Again, another one, Beyonce and Willie Nelson. Yeah, just for fun. It's not really ringing any bells for me, but I'm gonna tell you what did stand out. Most Wanted. Her song with Miley Cyrus. I did know they had a collab. When I listened to the song and I heard Miley's voice, Miley, I love her. I genuinely do love Miley Cyrus. I feel like I don't think she's underrated as far as her star power. I think vocally, the girls are sleeping on her. I'm going to tell you what, if you want to know what I'm talking about, I'm going to give you something to listen to. Hold on. Listen to Miley Cyrus, Maybe. It's a live version of it, which is all the more reason why you should listen to it. Vocally, nobody's touching my bitch. Period. But it Oh God, it gives me chills because it's very belty. Hello, my camera got so dark. I'm so sorry if y'all watch this podcast and you basically watch my camera do this in and out kind of dark light thing. I don't know how to fix that. I would like to work on it. I'd like to invest in better lighting, but it was just so dark just now. Oh my God. But vocally, Most Wanted is such a belty song. And, sometimes you get worried about two artists who both belt really loudly, but their voices are just, it gives you chills. It is so, in my opinion, I think second to Yaya, which is my favorite song on the album, I think this might be vocally one of the most strong songs on here. I think it's beautiful and I love it. The next song, Levi's Jeans. Now, not vocally strong, but it gives me goosebumps just how much of a good vibe it is. So it has Post Malone on it. Very interesting choice. Because I know that Post Malone, I guess very similar to Beyonce, is doing a little bit of genre bending, although some people wouldn't call it genre bending as much as he kind of rode on the coattails of Black culture by getting into hip hop, and now he's transitioned into kind of a more country, like alternative bluegrass kind of moment. But that's a conversation for another day. Right now, I'm just here to talk about this song. If you had told me in college, which is when I was first introduced to Post Malone, I think my junior or senior year, because my two best friends were obsessed with him, and I was just like, oh, y'all, he looks a little stinky, like he looks a little dirty. If you had came back in time and told that Shamira, hey, Post Malone and Beyonce are going to do a song together, and it's going to be a country song, I would have said, oh my God, time travel's real? I would not have believed you. When I tell you, this is such a good collab. Their voices sound so good together. Beyonce put that man in the studio and she said, oh, baby, around here we use our voices, which Post Malone can sing. I'm thinking about one of his songs from White Iverson, which is, what is it? You told me that I'm not it. What is that? You know the song I'm talking about. You probably don't, though. Hold on. What is it? Oh, my God. Now I got to look it up. Because I know exactly what I'm trying to say. Hold on. I Fall Apart. That's the name of it. Very vocally strong. Obviously, like when you listen to it, it's a lot of producing and stuff and auto-tune and whatnot. But like you can still hear the vocal quality in it. But it's just such a fun song. It's very flirty. It's very sexy. I love it. Like, again, not as vocally strong as Most Wanted with Miley Cyrus, but in terms of duets, I don't know what to choose from. Because she also has one on here with Dolly Parton that's just, they're all just so good. Flamenco is the last song of what I consider to be kind of like a modern take on country music. Then we get into the Linda Martell Show, which is another interlude. And then we get into what I think is Beyonce's take on country music, which I think mixes parts of her last project, Renaissance, kind of like this house beat music with elements of country music. The first song in this chunk of the album is Ya Ya. Ya Ya, it first starts out and it kind of has that feeling of like, this is going to be these boots are made for walking. It has that like sexy kind of like seductive, kind of like seductive is actually the word. Thank you. It has that vibe to it. And then it gets into this loud kind of big band, like river deep, mountain high, kind of like Tina Turner-esque, which kind of leans into rock music, which a lot of people think Act 3 will be rock music. But Ya Ya is probably my favorite song on the album for that purpose. If you know me, I'm like I have a very eclectic music taste, if I do say so myself. But as much as I love a good, sad, dramatic ballad, I love something loud like this, just very. That was me. I was literally just humming the tequila, but I love Ya Ya. It's loud. It's in your face. Vocally very stunning. And then Riverdance is fun. Now I'm still working my way through the album, trying to get my more memorable ones. But Riverdance is fun. That has like a very house beat type, because I believe it's bounce on a shit. hey, bounce on the shit. Like it has elements of it has those elements of house music. Same thing with Sweet Honey Buckin'. You know, she's getting there. It has those like house music where she's able to combine all these things that mean the world to her. She, I think, has been able to seamlessly throw herself into house music and that ballroom kind of culture. And now she's seamlessly not even throwing herself into, but kind of like reincorporating herself into those country roots. Overall, it's a good album. It's a great album. I am enjoying it so far. I'm enjoying discovering songs that I like. I'm enjoying getting more into the songs that I'm already like super into. It's a fun album, and I'm excited to see like what else comes from it. I think it's so important for her to do this album, and I think it's so important that she's done it against all odds, because I can imagine if she's been working on it for this long, I can imagine she's probably been told at so many moments, this is not a good idea. Don't do this. It's not really giving what you think it's going to give. I've said this before and I'll say it again. I've said it before on this podcast and I'll say it again. The experiences that Beyonce goes through as a Black woman in an industry where, despite she's doing all of this good, she still does not get the praises she deserves, and she is she gets critiqued more than anyone in her field. She gets criticized more than anyone in her field. She gets discredited more than anyone in her field. I will always be able to identify with that, and that is why I hold a body of work like hers so close to me. And I'm not saying that me and Beyonce have had the same trajectory as far as our careers go, but I just feel like Black woman to Black woman, and I get it. You're constantly being doubted, looked down on, questioned, criticized, even though you are putting out songs, music, moments that define a generation. We all know where we were when we saw the Single Ladies music video for the first time. Simple white backdrop, black leotards, and just a constant stream of dancing. The Single Ladies beat is iconic. And she's been, like, even if you just look at her, like, mainstream hits, the second you hear Crazy in Love, like, she has been doing this for so long. And she's still getting doubted. And that's my man, and I'm going to stick beside him. Like, I'm here for it. Beyonce, if you're listening, if you're watching, and I know you are, hey, hi, love it. Keep it coming. Keep doing you, because I'm going to keep appreciating it. And give me the live album, heifer. I think I've talked about this successfully enough. We're going to take another quick break, and then we're going to round this podcast off. We're going to close this puppy down. We'll be right back. Hey, besties. Are you ever curious about the woman behind the podcast mic? Probably not, because I'm an oversharer and you probably know most things about me. But if you want to get to know the real tea on all things Shamira, you should follow me on my personal social media. From day in the life vlogs to cooking videos to music reactions, babe, I do it all. My personal socials are where I take time to romanticize my everyday, ordinary girl life. So if you're into good vibes, laughs, and a touch of authenticity, come join the party. You can find me on TikTok at Shookmira, Twitter at Shamira James, that's 2 S's on the end, and Instagram at Shamira.Poppy, that's Papii. I'll see you there, babes. Bye. Let's get into these horoscopes. Let's end it out on a positive note. So we'll go through, we will save Aries second to last, but we'll save Capricorn, me, as the best for last. So we'll start with Taurus. Taurus, you can think of this month and this retrograde as a kind of last gasp of gestation before Taurus season. I don't know what that means. The Sun and Mercury are activating / agitating and illuminating your 12th house and the hidden enemies, old goats, and self-sabotage. Oh Lord, you hold hard to outdated ideas and old hurts, but in loosening your grip, you leave your hands open to receive something different. Okay, you know what it's giving me? Is that some of those old grudges are going to come back up, and it might be easy to be like, and I'm still upset with you, bitch. But you know what? When you let go and you let God, nothing can defeat you. Amen. Gemini, hello and welcome to the fresh hell of new beginning. My dynamic, oh my God, y'all, sometimes reading is hard. Duplicitous Gemini brethren. Okay, let me read it again. Hello and welcome to the fresh hell of a new beginning, my dynamic, duplicitous Gemini brethren. I'm scared for y'all. This retrograde and the month ahead are asking you to revisit the role of friendship in your life. Whom you keep company with and seek the counsel of has a direct bearing on your way of life. It's saying birds of a feather flock together, so watch who you're hanging out with, Gemini. Cancer. Your life, and in particular, the work that you do, are in crosshairs of this infernal retrograde cycle. Nostalgic as a Hallmark commercial or a butterscotch candy crushed in the grime of an old woman's purse, you, Cancers, cling hard to the past and its patterns. But now, if you allow it, a new path is possible. Let go of them old roots, Cancers. It's time to look forward and look to a new. Leo, all eyes and 1,000 torches are upon your 9th house in expansion, Leo. The 9th house is often thought of as the realm of travel and broaden horizons, but it's also the house of philosophy. Under these skies, perhaps it's time for I don't know what this says. Under the skies, perhaps the time is nigh for you to pledge yourself to a different set of ethos. Girl, I don't know what that means. It's high time you put a humble heart and open arms to your metaphorical coat of arms. Okay, so I'm thinking it's saying like shed that coat of armor you have and tap into your emotional side, Leo. Virgo. A Virgo near and dear to me recently sent me footage of the Catholic Easter processional in Portugal. The video showed a full gilded pageantry and a gentle flood of people floating on cobblestones, trailed by an Okay, this article is using a lot of big fucking words. Effigy? This is so embarrassing. This has been an embarrassing episode of a skeletal Jesus Christ wearing bunny ears. It is precisely that balance of reverent absurdity and silly. That's another word I can't read. Solemnity that I hope you will adopt during these trying times. Basically saying balance. It's saying you take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have the facts of life, Virgo. Libra. For a portrait series, Iranian artist, I don't want to butcher this name, asked those who sat for her to describe in detail the last dream they experienced. She transcribed the information into her first native Farsi and spread the word over the images she collected while her subjects were recollecting. As this retrograde and the eclipse season highlight your 7th house of partnerships and contracts, Libra, I encourage you to find common ground in the seldom tread landscape of someone else's dreams, where expectations, biases, doubts, and disappointment are overthrown in the interest of wild imagination, where stories are void of structure but amplified with meaning. Libra is giving that you got to kind of throw yourself into the chaos of other people. See what other people are like. Maybe not what they're saying directly, kind of get involved into the fantasy of it all, really. Scorpio. Fellow Scorpio and journalist Jenna Wortham, in an essay for the New York Times Magazine, writes about disconnecting her mind from her body when shame or discomfort arises, and when she also notes the impossibility of maintaining severance while swimming. As this retrograde and eclipse cycle activate your sixth house of habits, Scorpio, I challenge you to move through the world with a startling engagement and absolute attention, as if your life depended on it. Scorpio, it's giving pay attention to the little things, honestly. Like, don't let anything go by that you're not taking in. Just let it all wash over you. Sagittarius, this retrograde and Aries season at large incinerates your 5th house of creativity, pleasure, and play. All this hot to trot cardinal fire is asking you to consider how you define fun and where and how you find wonder. As your 5th house is a domain of your inner child and retrogrades are often a time of return, I encourage you to apply the lens of childhood to all that you engage with. Add some fun and whimsy to your life, Sagittarius. Where we at? Okay, Aquarius. Aries season, complete with an eclipse and a retrograde, throws shine and shade on your 3rd house of communication, short trips, currency, and exchange, Aquarius. It's a lot of stuff here. Scream it, speak it, write it, or sing it, but be loud without shame and clear without concessions. Just speak it into existence, babe. Anything you want, anything you need, shout it out and I'll be there. says the universe to you, Aquarius. Pisces, all this Aries energy afoot and aflame is throwing light into your second house of wealth and worth. Now is the hour for housekeeping, your self-concept, and revising the script of what you want and what you think you deserve. Let's see what else I have to say. Under these stars, you're encouraged to believe that the best is yet to be and plan accordingly. I think it's the same thing I said last month, Pisces. It's yours for the taking. You just have to really want it. Aries, since it is your season, you'll be going next. Happy return of the sun to my favorite band of emotional arsonists. Now, ain't that the truth? Aries season and this retrograde are throwing heat flares up in your first house of the self, heralding a prime time for you to dispense with who you were and step forward into who you will be. With the solar eclipse in your sign heralding the new and unknown, I hope you'll throw all of your prodigious power into a brand new beginning. It says you're about to step into the next level of yourself, Aries, and I hope you go into it full swing. And saving the best for last, Capricorn, the sea goats. Let's see what it's saying for us. In the myth of the Minotaur and his maze, Prince Adrian gives her lover, Theseus, a spool of red thread to lead him out of the labyrinth when he has completed the dark heroics of killing a monster. I wonder, Capricorn, as this season has you retracting the steps of your own ancestry, that's not what it says, as this season has you retracing the steps of your own ancestry, the long walk home to the past, what will you use to draw you back and lead you forward? May you slay your own monsters, oh please, and return whole into here and now. That was ominous. And with that note, y'all be blessed, and I'll see y'all next week. Bye.
Realer than real.